Well, Micky, no game this week, and often we say, is that a good thing, because you've got more time on the training pitch, or would you rather get out there and play midweek?
Well, it is what it is, and there's no preference, quite to be honest, either way. You just do what you've got to do under the circumstances, and under the circumstances we've been able to get out in the grass and keep people ticking along. We have some suspensions and some injuries at the minute, so we're a wee bit into the bare bones, but we've been able to get some decent work done.
How is the mood? I mean, we talked a little bit about it after the match on Saturday about confidence. Always seems to be a bubbly place, this. Is that still the case? Yeah,
I think you would have to say that when you're not getting the results not going your way, that it has to have an effect. There's a lot of emotions listening, and I don't know how you put a measurement on them. I don't know what the scale is on them. A lot of frustration, because we know that we haven't had the rubber green at times, and could be better in certain situations at times, but have been good in others. So yeah, there's a lot of frustration, and of course the measurement of where we're at as a league table and results, and that isn't good enough at the minute. So we're aware of that. We're always honest enough to admit that. In terms of wanting to put it right, and looking forward to putting it right, I couldn't fault any of the lads or any of the staff. We want to make sure we go and try and do that.
You mentioned that frustration in a key. Is there a way the players can maybe turn it into motivation and look back at the game and think, you know what, I don't want that happen again, and use that as to look back and think, no, let's kick on?
Yeah, of course. I mean, we're not here for a psychology session, are we? But of course it's important that the more experience you get, you're able to try and do that. You're able to try and manage your emotions better as you get older. Yeah, and of course one of the things is you don't like the position you're in, and you fight hard to get back out of it. And we talk about that a lot, and we try and use that to try and turn the mentality around. But of course we've still got to go on the pitch and do our jobs. We've still got to go into whatever their jobs are with and without the ball. It's always down to doing their job, so you've got to focus on that and not let the emotion get too much. And just like I say, listen, just go and do your jobs.
Where do you feel the problem lies? I mean, obviously you work hard all week on the pitch, and that's it on the day of the game. Things seem to gel. I mean,
you get some unbelievable questions sometimes, and I think you wouldn't have to be a brain surgeon to work out that we haven't scored enough goals. That's, as I keep saying, the responsibility to everybody. It's not. Everybody seems to think it's strikers or it's team shape or whatever. Football is. I like to try and keep it very, very simple, and we have some stats to make sure that we're doing the things that we believe will get us goals. And again, at the weekend, we get the ball in the box 67 times and have a lot of shots on target, and the team that we're playing against has one shot on target in 90 minutes and one off target, and you lose the game. If we knew the answers to that, we would endeavour to try and fix it. Yeah. You've got to just keep putting the ball into dangerous areas. We as much quality as you can. That's what we're trying to do, and get as many people in dangerous areas as we possibly can to try and score us goals. I try and be as honest and as basic as possible, because I believe the game is just that. And listen, I've been in the game long enough, and I know now that there'll be people out there. The blame game is well and truly long begun, but I'm very focused on trying to do the best that I can for Tranmere, by working hard and backing my players and trying to help them with my experience as much as I can. we're doing an awful lot right, we're getting the ball into dangerous areas, maybe we just have to be a wee bit more clever in the 18-yard box, and maybe that's where the confidence issue comes, because maybe some things then, because they all want to do well, Cook, Labby, George Waring, all of them, all the strikers, Norburn, Norwood, I can go through them all, Connor Jennings, listen, they all want to do well for Tranmere, but they all know that we're not scoring goals, so maybe things become a wee bit deliberate then, and what we call it in football, it does it, you don't even think about it, you go and just get on the end of something and finish it. When you're, as anybody knows who plays any kind of sport or does anything, when it becomes a wee bit more deliberate, it doesn't become as instinctive, and then it builds up on you, it just seems to become a wee bit harder, and I think that's, in fact I know that that's what's happening at the minute. And then of course, as anybody will know who's in football, you're looking for that wee bit of fortune, that deflection that comes off somebody and goes in, but the minute ours is hitting the post, or that set play that gets played backwards and the ref goes offside for it, and I still can't work out to this day why you can play a ball backwards and be offside. Doesn't go for you. Or the chances come along, and guys that you can normally rely on day in and day out in training, it just doesn't fall for them. But I'm the last person in the world to blame in football. It's just the way the game is. As long as we're creating the chances or trying to create the chances, or we as a team try and give the team a plan in order to try and do that, we'll just keep trying to improve on that. There's little things that we think that we can do better. Little things like maybe taking on the risky pass a bit earlier, maybe a wee bit deliberate in the build up, and sometimes when you freeze something up, take on the risky pass and try and find a front man a bit quicker. Trust your own ability to maybe try and drop a ball over a centre back and get a striker running onto it, or trust your ability and take a shot from distance, or manipulate a ball and slide somebody in there. These are all the things that, if you watch football the amount that I do, probably in a minute 3 or 4 games a day, and that's how hard that we work, come out with in performances, you'll find out that the teams that are being successful are the ones that are taking their chances. That's how simple the game is, it's as basic as that. Defensively, we're still very, very strong. A lapse in concentration from a set play at the weekend, and a guy's able to blast the ball through about 10 bodies and it goes in off a deflection. First shot on target, the 5th from 90 minutes. I would take that. So, in terms of focus and clarity and what we want to do, we're working very hard to try and do that, to try and score goals, and I think that that's what we'll continue to try and do.
Bromley next, Micky, they lie in 10th place, 4 points ahead of us. How important is the game on Saturday not to let a team like Bromley get too far ahead of us? Could they catch only 9 points between trying to top the league?
Yeah, I think we're aware there's a 9-point gap. I know the focus is on is biting into that, and I think we have to work hard, like we keep saying, on medium and long term goals. We've spoke about that, and one of them is getting the next goal. And what I mean by the next goal is the next one. So your mentality is going to be, even if you don't, if they score first on Saturday, we get the next one. So it's always the positive mentality that we are able to galvanise and just concentrate on little small goals at the minute. And one of them is get the next goal, whenever that is. And we will work very hard on that. We do it in training. We install that mentality in, and we don't allow any disappointment if you go a goal down. We just say get the next one, and that will work for us eventually. There's no doubt about that. There's no doubt that there's a lot of talent in this group. There's an awful lot of talent. So when you think about it, again, think basically about it. What is going wrong then if there's a team full of talent and they still have talent? It can only be mentality. So we're working hard on the mentality, and part of mentality is confidence and focus and desire and all these words, and sticking to the plan and not panicking under pressure, and a whole host of things that we could write the length of Solar Campus playing fields, but it is quite simple. We just need to keep believing and keep going.
And you mentioned some issues with injury, suspension, so how's the squad this weekend?
Well, Cook's suspended. He got his 5th booking on Saturday and shouldn't have been booked because it wasn't a booking. Bad fortune for us. We have a whole host of players at the games today wouldn't be able to take part, so we shall give ourselves the best possible chance to go and perform on the 4G, which again brings us some problems because although scientifically it's not been proven that it produces any more injuries, we have players here who you have to believe know their bodies better than anybody and say that it is difficult for them to play on it because of the aftermath of it, how long it takes them to recover, or what it does to their joints. So that's another argument for another day, but that's what the players say, and that's what they at the end of the day are the best scientists for them. So that's what happens, and a lot of them are terrified of it. So we have that to factor in as well, and before anybody says, oh no, you just go make them play, I'm sorry, they're human beings and they don't work like that. They know their bodies better than us, so you have to trust them.
Jamie Campbell available this weekend?
He is, yeah, but he's one of the ones I have to say that with the knees that he has, he cannot play on it. History of him playing on it in Scotland against Kilmarnock, he says that he can't walk for a week after he plays in it, so he won't be available this weekend for that reason.
I think we're going to ask you every week until we see him about I think you know what's coming as well. Ben Tollett, is he any closer?
Yeah, this is probably the last game that we wouldn't be able to consider him in. So after today's game, Saturday's game, again, a wee bit because of the surface, and he's probably only this week probably moved right into being available. After this weekend's game, he'll be available for some kind of selection. Whether or not that's to start, I think we have to think about that one to give him the best possible chance, because he's had a very, very long layoff. But certainly, the stage that he's at, all things considered, he's 100% as fit as he possibly could be at the minute without playing in the games. So we will have a look at that during the weekend, but he will be available for the next game, and then we'll have a look at that and build on that.
Apart from Cookie and Kevley, anyone else have knocks?
There's a lot of knocks, and I'm not being trying to be clever. Or we obviously don't want to give the opposition any help by knowing who's going to be available and who is. So we have a lot of knocks. We have a lot that we believe will hopefully recover. But if the game was tonight, it would be a very, very young bench, put it that way. Maybe even Big Paul might be on it if we can get him registered in time. But no, we will get on with it and get them best prepared as we can. We've had a good week. We've done a lot of talking. We're very, very together. It's close a group that I don't think that I've really ever worked with as close as we are. Of course, that's easy for me to say because that's all I'm doing is saying it, but I can tell you that I'm saying that we are very tight, very united and very determined to do well for Tranmere Rovers, because we all know what a fantastic football club it is, so we're going to work hard and try and do that. We have the energy to want to try and do that, the battle and the character to want to keep coming back, which you have to have. And we will be good to go again, and we will try and do the things that gets us a big result on Saturday.